Impression of MMA Guru doing an impression of MMA Guru. What's up, guys? The impression of MMA Guru doing an impression of MMA Guru. UFC 313 takes place this week. Oh, what is it? UFC 313 Ankalaev. I'm doing it wrong. UFC 313 Pereira versus Ankalaev takes place this weekend, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my prediction and breakdown for every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelim opener of, and then I'll just go straight into it, you know. Drama. Thank you for the 2. Damn, that was pretty good. Yeah. You sounded exactly like Guru. I know you're pretty good at that. I know it was a good one. We move on up the card to another fight, which is... This is every single fight to make next after UFC 313 Pereira versus Ankalaev. I've got all of the key fighters from that card on the screen right now. Some winners, some losers, and you may notice there is an empty box next to all of them, and that's where their opponent's going to go, who I have hidden around the perimeter of the screen. I'll slowly reveal those opponents one by one as the video goes on and place them where they belong on the screen, starting with the main event. That's what I do. Just got to switch into it, you know what I mean? Guru, I beat to all your streams all the time. Huge fan. Shout out. How did you stop socializing? Didn't your friends pressure you to do things? Yeah, they did. But to do this, I had to give up every weekend for the rest of my life to do the streams. Like, I couldn't go out on Saturdays anymore. And if I went out on Fridays, and I would be hungover on the Saturday and I wouldn't be able to do this. And I started streaming every evening as well. So I just sort of chose this over a social life. I'm from the UK, you know, so the hours are going to be all off anyway. Plus, I didn't really like being around them anyway. They're a bit degenerate. Most people my age were degenerate back then, so I just kind of wanted to distance from it all. And, you know, vaping and just degenerate, rotten brains. And I don't know, I just wasn't really into the social groups. I just kind of stuck it out because you kind of needed to be while you were at school. But then once I left school, I thought, okay, let me try and do my own thing and just separate from everyone in society and see if I can build something for myself. Ecosystem underneath the beanie being developed? No, I'm just putting the beanie on. Guru, who you got winning? I feel like I've been doing better since the beanie's been on, to be honest with you guys. Thank you for the $2. I don't know if you guys agree, but I feel like I've just been doing better content and streaming more. I don't know what it is, but something about putting the beanie on just makes me feel like the MMA Guru a bit more. It's hard to snap into it otherwise. I sort of start to depersonalize from, you know, an online, not persona, but an online thing where I do all this. It's weird. Once I put the beanie on, I feel like not a character, but it just feels right. Because I did it for so many years with the beanie on. I don't know, it just feels like I'm gone back to the MMA Guru from, you know, something else. Thank you for the 5. Dana, meat riding is generational. Also, your beard is very red. Thank you. I'd like to eat food too, fatty. And would you fight Prime Jones for a $1 million on dollars? And $1 million? Yeah, I'd fight Prime Jones for $1 million. I don't know why people think losing a fight is that bad. I'm not gonna. So probably I'd get beaten up and it'd be tough, but I'd have an extra $1 million. So would you fight Ngannou, but every minute you survive, you get 5 million? I'd gamble it. You know what I mean? A lot of people do that. Like, would you be brave enough to step in the ring for Ngannou for 10 million? Like, people aren't out here working 9 to 5 for minimum wage. Yes. I'll risk when I was working like wage, I literally would have, someone would have said to me, 50-50, you get in the head or you live, I'll give you 10 million. I would have actually probably risked it. And that's not even a joke. I think he'll lose. TKO CEO said they'll have more Apex events next year to raise profits, which can then raise fighter pay. He said sometimes they lose money on arenas versus paying $0 for the Apex. I mean, maybe. Thank you for the $10. That's interesting to think about, maybe. I mean, I get it because some fighters don't deserve a crowd because they're so unknown. There's so many of those fighters now. I just think they shouldn't have more Apex events. If they're going to have more Apex events, they should have less weeks off. They shouldn't replace crowded events with Apex events. Every month, there should be one pay-per-view and one crowded event somewhere in the world. If they want to do an Apex event also and do 3 every month, then that'd be fine. The 4 weeks off over Christmas is often quite bad, but we'll see what they do. Better to learn MMA, kickboxing, or Muay Thai? MMA. MMA, of course. But then also do specifics, like kickboxing. Muay Thai, in my opinion, chat, yes or no? Can we settle this debate real quick? I was just having some self-confidence. I know, my bad. It won't happen again. Kickboxing is so much better for MMA than Muay Thai. Like, I wouldn't even tell my students, if I had an MMA gym of, like, people to train, I would not have them train Muay Thai. I think it would set them in a way that's just wrong. Kickboxing is so much better, I think. Way better for MMA than Muay Thai is. Muay Thai is good, but I think kickboxing is so much better for the footwork aspect. Yeah. Not good compared to footwork, exactly. Yeah, the footwork aspect is just too wrong to deal with grappling. Too wrong. Some people can make it work, but you'll often see they have like wicked jiu-jitsu as well on top of it. If you want to be a striker in MMA, you have a much better chance starting in kickboxing. You know what I mean? Starting in kickboxing than Muay Thai. More like 30%. You can't be a cheeseburger. All right, chat. I mean, I know people get onto me, yeah, but I could beat up about the majority of regular men. You know how frail you lot are? Not you lot. But like, you know how frail the regular guy is that can't throw a punch and can't fight at all. I think you guys are a little bit off there. I'm trained. I'm a second degree black belt in Taekwondo. I did Muay Thai for a bit. And I'm massive as fuck. So, I don't know. I don't think a majority of people in a street fight I could beat is like a far-fetched thing. You know how little people know how to fight, chat? It's like about 10% of guys that have ever trained in any type of combat sport. Most people just can't fight at all, and they're small. So, sorry. I really think I could take out like a good amount. I'm a big... Look at the picture of Dricus Duplessis. I'm a big dude, man. You know? And I've trained. So, I mean, I'm not a great fighter. I wouldn't beat anyone who's like a trained fighter who's been doing it for years and years even. But if you're not trained and I'm bigger than you, I have, and I would beat you, I reckon. Pretty easily. More people train today than ever? Maybe, yeah, but it's not the percentage that you think it is. Most people have no idea how to throw a punch. I'd say at least, give me 80 or 75% maybe. Most people are like weak, 120, 130 pounds, frail, never thrown a punch in their life. That's the majority of people. Or they're just fat and they've never thrown a punch and they gas out after a minute. Like, I don't know. I know you guys want me to be a fucking loser, and I am, but like, I did train throughout my childhood, martial arts. So, I don't know. And I'm huge, so I think I could win a few. For sure. 90%? I don't think 90% is that crazy. Maybe that's like you projecting how you feel about yourself compared to the regular human population, but I'm pretty big, man. No one believes you have a black belt. Well, any geniuses out there can prove that I do, and can prove that I competed at a national level. So, even though I lost immediately and never won anything big, I still did it. But, you know, it is what it is. Believe what you want. I know it's just trolling and shit, but 70%, give me 70. You know what I mean? Like, I think it would be the majority that I could beat in a fight. Even just watching MMA, I think, gives you an advantage over the regular human. I don't think you guys understand that. The fact that you watch MMA all the time, even if you haven't done any training, you're probably going to be able to beat like a 30% of the population just because you watch it all the time and you kind of know the idea of it. Most people have no idea what they're doing in a fight. No idea what they're doing. See, now I've brought you guys in on being able to do it as well. You'll agree with me, which is good. You still flexible enough to throw a kick? Yeah, for sure. I have good kicks. Sparring Tom video to shut up the haters. No. Thank you for the 2. I don't think that will shut up the haters. Him going light on me. I won't prove anything. Okay, Kwando. Thank you for the 2. Stand up and shadow box. Nah, I'm good. I don't do actions for money. I'm never setting that president. Thank you for the 5. 45 to 70% of chat would whip your ass. I don't think so at all. But maybe. Who knows? Maybe there's more people trained in here than would be in a regular world. You think a yoked dude gets beat by a skinny BJJ guy? It's a risky one. Like, they'd have to be a really good BJJ guy. You know what I mean? If they're tiny. Taekwondo from the UK. Yeah. Think of it as big in the UK. Think of it as 2. It was anyway when I was younger. Guru, you're washed, bro. Little bro, you're not that guy anymore. All right. Well, anyway, I had a bit of self-confidence, so the chat turned on me again. It is what it is. Curry shirt clipping away as you talk. Yeah, I'm going to get trashed for this, but it's just, you know. Dude, I'm a big guy, man. I'm a huge guy, and I'm pretty athletic, and I have muscle on me. Like, I feel like I could do quite well. I don't think that's delusional. You know, I'm not a tiny, frail dude by any means. Like, it's going to take someone trained to beat me in a fight, and most people don't train. Simple as that. I know I had self-confidence and bigged myself up for a second, so the whole chat's going to revolt against me, because that's how it is. But still, I reckon I could win, man. 75%, yeah, 70, 75 at least, I'd say. Could you beat Bradley Martin? He's 2 or 260. Maybe, but I think Bradley Martin could beat like 90% of people. Not anyone trained or anyone really good that's trained. But I reckon he could beat the majority of people up. Thank you for the 2. Chill, bro. Thank you for the 3. Why is chat acting like 50% of Earth is an Indian? All right. Well, there we go. Thank you for the 5. Jesus Christ. No, you can't. If you don't train, you can't beat up people who have. Or you can in certain scenarios, because it doesn't matter if you train if you're a frail little bitch of a human. But I never even said that anyway. You're just arguing with imagination, like every clip channel comment section does all the time. Making up things to have a problem with and argue against. You just don't listen because you're a subhuman freak and you shouldn't be able to vote. Yuri was probably not telling them his location, IMO. Yeah, but how did they get that many tests out of him if he wasn't telling them his location? I think they just assumed that he was on roids. Because there are pictures of Yuri when he used to, like, lift, I guess, way back when. And maybe he was on roids at some point. But there's pictures of Yuri way back in the day where he does look like a completely different person in terms of his muscle mass. Like, he's gotten a lot more lean since he's been in the UFC. And even since he's been in combat sports in general. There are pictures of him when he first got into MMA where he's just a fucking, like, mutant in terms of how big he is. So maybe he was on at some point, and then once he got into the sport, he was like, okay, I'm going to stop so I can be clean for this. But who knows? And in for a month or 2. Did you see Dana say if Pereira wins, he's number 1 pound for pound? Dana must be pissed at Jones. At Jones if he said that. Yeah, I did see him say that, actually. Yeah, I did see that. I'm going to do a breakdown of that video of him on ESPN because they were talking about Pereira Jones. They didn't even mention Aspinall's name. It's a fucking disgrace, I tell you. An absolute fucking disgrace, me. I insult MMA Central to bring back the intro, please. You want me to fucking terminate your channel, do you?